Welcome to the Siddha Vetha webinar series. Today's topic is how to disease-free life. Is it possible? Why do we have to suffer? So these are some of the major questions which our ancient sage scientists have asked for themselves. They found answers also. But today we have a lot of doubts whether it's possible. Even many theories that we have learned religiously or through some ashrams or any other, teachings, including the scientific teachings, say that we have to die as a human being. Everything is a cycle. And in that cycle, everything comes up and then goes inside. So this is part of the nature, death. So, and our understanding is that we have to, grow, go up like this and then decline. So that's the growth chart. So you go up and then you start to age. So this is the curve we are looking at. So is there a process where it goes up and then reverses back and then stabilizes? So what is that reversing process, right? So let us look deep into this. It's a very important subject because the moment you listen to some information, the information started to process in you. So we all are made up of only our thoughts, nothing else. Whatever we know about the truth, what you are thinking as a truth is just a bunch of thoughts. Your past thoughts, you got it from different sources. So we are just made up of information, nothing else. The information, according to whatever information we got, we build this hardware. So the software only builds the hardware. So it's like a 3D printing. In a 3D printing, you can build a house nowadays, that's possible. So you put all the information in the software and whatever requirement, the physical aspect of the house is built by robots. It is possible. That's the future also. But this technology is already existing in us. We are just information. We see that, for example, all ladies have menopause problems. During menopause, they are suffering. There is a lot of process going on. But is this very natural? Well, this is not natural. The menopause may be natural, but they don't have to suffer. It's nothing like real suffering. But the more and more the information that we put, because we want to market like menopause things, what happens during menopause, we will prevent this, we can do this surgery, we can do this kind of medicine, we do this kind of, whatever, process, all this becomes information. And the more the information you have, the more they download into their system. They read, they talk to friends, All these are information system. So that information will think, okay, I'm getting menopause now in the beginning, this is I'm 45, maybe this is the thing. And then you try to, internalize that information slowly and manifest. So you go to suffering. And you want to suffer like others. Oh, it's all, it's statistics. 40% are suffering like this. I am in one of the 40%. So you're agreeing to that. So we are in an information world where we want to download all the negative aspects because you are a non-believer. We all have non-believers only. They are either religious non-believer or atheist. More religious non-believers are only there. They do not believe in consciousness. They do not believe that you can change the code. We can change the code. Because they do not believe that God exists inside us. They only believe that God has a religious aspect. Somewhere, something is there. A God is hiding somewhere, and you can do all kind of nonsense things. And then you can go seek God for help later on. Because you haven't integrated that God inside you. Internalized the God. This is a universe. This universe is pure. So the ego is created that I can use this body whatever way I want. Misuse of the 3 degrees of freedom given to human being. So the 3 degrees of freedom is using the physical body whatever way we want, using the mental mind in whatever way we want, and consumerism. Whatever you consume, you can clothing or your house, building a house, anything. So all these 3, we have 3 degrees of freedom only for humans. Animals don't have those 3 degrees of freedom. If we start to misuse the 3 degrees of freedom, you will start to get the disease. So the cause and effect, if you say what is God, what is consciousness, it is just a cause and effect system. Whatever we do, there is the result. So it works for both the atheist or a theist. If you're a believer of God, believe in cause and effect system. If you're a believer of no God, still you have to believe in cause and effect system. Because if you believe in no God, you're believing something that is inside you. Right? It's okay, I am believing in what I am doing is right. So everything, that's the design of the universe. Everything is a cause and effect system. Right? Nobody can escape from this. So if you understand this clearly, like what is now disease? There are many factors. Disease could be from this, etc. We can say, I have a problem, it's a DNA, I cannot do anything. That's my parent had this, my family has an history of heart attack, then possibly I will have a heart attack. So this is also an information. You have an information from your parent. There are many good things, aspects of your parents, right? You don't download any good things, but you want to download the bad things. If they have an heart attack, you want to download that. And therefore your neurons, everything associates. It tries to rewire, connect to that disease, and then that will manifest inside you. So everything that we do, if you look at, it is the mental neuron rewiring, the connections, right? The neuroplasticity, we call it, makes the connections. And with the nadis, they start, little tubes, tiny tubes, they start to function accordingly. Manovaga Shrotamis, we call it. So the mind is the fundamental for disease. Accepting disease. Say, I used to give an example of a small mole on my, back of my palm. So here I'm, I may be thinking this is a, mole. I have little doubt. I want to search, this kind of mole, what it is. And then there's little kind of symptomatic thing. Somebody said it may be a skin cancer. And then I want to explore more. And then I want to discuss with my friends. And one of my friends said, hey, last year, my friend, she had a similar thing and it happened to be a skin cancer. So better go and do the scanning, etc., etc. So you started to now slowly download that information, right? And started to believe in that. You become a believer of that. And then you manifested. And after 2 years, stage 1. So this is a skin cancer. You can get symptoms of that because you downloaded, you manifested. So you are what your thoughts are made up of. Whatever you think, you will manifest. Okay, no, I was thinking always positive. No, you are not always thinking positive. Your subconsciousness had doubt. Those people who say, I was always thinking positive, but still, this thing happened. You are a non-believer. You did not believe in completely. Okay, because you don't know that you are God and you can solve this problem. You can rewrite the code. You can reprogram it, right? You didn't believe that reprogram works. Right? And say a planet is there, unless all the planets will rotate around the sun, because sun is a huge field. Sun's magnetic field also rotates. The field around the sun also rotates. So whatever the gravitational field, say, and whatever sits, this I'm talking very ancient knowledge, whatever sits in that field also rotates around planet. So if there is, by default, this will only happen. That's the gravity. Whatever nature, if nobody is going against nature, you will fall into the field. Whatever happened, disease has to come. If you're not reprogramming it, whatever is in your DNA, whatever you heard, whatever message information you received from your Sanjita Prarabdha Karma, which is Sanjita Karma is from your parents and up to 12, 13 years until you get matured. And the Prarabdha Karma is after that what you do. This only will manifest by default. But with your Agami Karma, that is the present, if you are able to change the code, reprogram it, then you will be able to come out of the problems. A disease, it could be a physical disease, all are disease only. If you have problem with your husband, wife, it's a disease. If you have problem having, struggling, executing your work, nothing is happening to me, whatever I try to apply for a job, I don't get a job, that's also a karma. Or you have a problem, no matter what I do, I have this body pain. So this is all karmas. They all are disease only. Disease is not just like only body is a disease. There are mental disease, this is different. Whatever is affecting you physically or mentally is a disease. Because it's not in ease, it's called dis-ease. Okay. So the only way to solve this is to understand that we are code writers. We are programmers. And believing in that strongly only is not just through meditation. Meditations all will help to reduce the mental frequency in writing the right code. But meditation alone will not make you any greater if you don't write the program well. So meditation techniques are used to reduce the mental frequency so you have a clarity of what program you have to write. But programming is a process, right? So it's an epigenetic transformer. We have to reprogram. So you have to reprogram in such a way that you don't get trapped. You don't get trapped in all these, informations, negative informations. So detachment, that is why we need detachment. The detachment to information. So first thing in our life is detachment to information. That is, you see, I can call it detached attachment. Okay, thank you. So detached attachment. So detached attachment is you are a lotus in water, but you're separate. You're separate from water. Water cannot touch and mess with your body. So like that you need to, because nothing is permanent. Somebody will die soon. It could be husband, your parent, your mother. Somebody is going to die. Is this not going to permanent? You're going to die. So this is the kind of, so the design is that, you want to die? The design, whether you want to die, that's a design, So this is what we see around us. But you can change, you cannot change somebody else. Even a parent, whatever you think, whatever you want to do, at the end, they will not be doing what you want. I told him, go to this, do this thing, but they are not doing. Nothing is in your control. You don't control anything. Even your kids or anybody, there's no control. That'll happen, that'll blossom, the plant has come, it has its own purpose, it'll happen. But you have control in your own self. So that's the degree of freedom you need to use. That degree of freedom is your choice. Whether you want to believe in information, right? So information is a major part. I would give it more than 60 to 70% to information. For any disease, importantly, there's information. Inputs, we are looking at inputs. What's an information? Information is an input through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin. Right? These all are information. All information are stored through the 5 senses. Okay. If this information is right, whatever you're seeing is right. So you get, like, you scan something, unwanted things you wanted to do because randomly you don't have anything, you don't know the purpose. You want to keep some gadget in front of you and randomly getting information. Somebody talking something, right? Some random person. And he's giving some random information about any disease or anything like that. You're not only downloading the information of what the person told, but also the gunas of the person. So look at how many things every day you download. All this becomes part of you. That is why the people whom you think, people you talk about, people you read, people what you see, all this should be a conscious thing. So you take sage scientist lifestyle, you go about, visualize them, hear to their songs, this is the lifestyle, you need to make the changes. If you keep doing that, that's the first level of thing. first level. I am talking for ordinary living. Then later, the next thing you want to change is another input, physical input, which is your food. This universe inside you need the right type of fuel. So anything unwanted will create a disease. The food that goes inside you, first it should be cruel-free food. It should be food that is unprocessed, or human says scientists like cultures that processed in a right way, to make it more biodynamic. And food should be easily digestible. Right? All the problems come because food is not digested properly. So according to your body type, if you eat the food, if you're a kapha body type and you're eating food that is very heavy, you'll have no agni, manta agni we call it. So you will not be able to digest your body type. According to your body type, you will have to go for the food. So if you do this, then first thing that happens is the major disease will go away. First, major disease, you will not go into cancer or any big type of disease you can prevent. Then you can think about every day, today what I can prevent, little bit of, I have a back pain here, all small things, right? So those things can be prevented through Nitya Olukam, daily chores. We do every day, whatever you do from morning to evening. If you completely are in the Ayurvedic, that tradition, Dinacharyam, we call it in the Ayurvedic tradition. So if you follow those things, then we can prevent the everyday thing happening. So if you keep doing this, at certain point, your consciousness will go so deeper. Why don't we reverse ourselves? Because people don't believe in reverse believing in anti-aging, but reverse aging, people don't believe. Whatever it is, because you cannot believe, because you're programmed so much in the past through the modern education system, right? And what we saw from the past, people are dying, my grandmother died, this one died, all those things. So that information start to process and they got old and everything. So we are seeing this, and they also saw that and they believed in that. But if you start to non-believe, something happens to this body. The body start to reverse everything. And you become younger and younger. Even physical cells. I'm not only talking about the mind. Even the physical body start to become younger. Right? And then it is definitely possible to even change. You don't have to physically also die. So this is not a technology is unknown. It has been practiced by sage scientists from the Siddhas. They have practiced this. And technologies clearly explain what is the process that we need to do this for this. So this process is mostly has to do, it's not with like what you're eating, Vajram or other alchemical things, but mostly it is the program. It is not even in meditation or food. That is only secondary effects. Of course, we need to change the lifestyle in terms of the practices, the nalolukam you're doing, daily chores. But also the main important aspect of is the mind. How do we change the way we think now? If you change that process of thinking, then it is possible how to come out of disease. So we are trying to create a full physical university in India, taking like 600 acres of land and creating a space for people to think. They can live there and practice. Because today, if I say, hey, do wear some organic clothing, that's a 3 degrees of freedom. I told you, like the consumerism. This comes on consumerism. The way you use physical body, the way you use the mind, and the way you use your all these three can give disease. This is the consumerism. So consumerism, if I tell you, if you wear polyester, you're going to get disease. You will not know why. And even if you know, there's no replacement. I cannot give you an organic clothing. You have to do research for where you get this organic clothing, all those things. So we are making that available, right? All these processes are available in one system where you can, get this. You will get the momentum developed to this. We're creating that atmosphere. Maybe it'll take some years, at least 3 to 5 years, to build like a full deemed university. But right now we have some structure, basic structure, where we can operate something. So this is the level. Next week, if people who are interested, we will be talking about this exclusively, how to build that campus. Okay, so you can come and attend that at same 10 o'clock. How we are going to do that, how we are going to use the collective consciousness, right? So far, we haven't lived collectively. People talk about organic food, for example. Why organic is important? Because there is no chemicals. So when you're becoming the 3 degrees of freedom, I told you, like the consumerism, what you eat matters. Because there are two ways it matters. What goes inside matters. The karma you cause, two things are there. If you're putting chemicals, you're killing the planet, you're killing all the organisms, right? As well as you're killing yourself inside. So the karmic effect will be there, as well as the direct effect. Can you all mute, please? Yeah. If you have a question, you can raise your hands. Okay. So the golden rule to live a disease-free life is first of all, using the 3 degrees of freedom in the right way. Right? So the body, physical body, whatever you want to use good ways of using the physical body. You have to stay, discipline life, waking up early, doing some exercises, good exercises, yogic exercises, all those things, martial arts, all those things you can do. Then keep the physical body well. Instead of misusing the physical body just for showing up, I want to do this, I'll jump from there and, destroying things for ego, because people will praise you. All the Gen Z things they do, they jump somewhere and those kind of things. And using the mind is very important. The mind, whatever we think, it will manifest. So using the right thought is very important. If you have a negative thought, you have a lot of enemies around you. You always think about, your jealousy, all these things, the emotions. You become very sad. Just because sadness, you will get disease. You're not here to live and have, all those things. Your past is gone. Just leave it and go away. That's it. It's of no use. You're just downloading again and again and living in that. You're only just your choice. So the mind should be very clean. So understand that the way you use, you're the human being is the only one who has the degree of freedom to think. Animals don't think they don't think about mechanism, how the food digests or the global warming, etc. But human beings do. So if you use the mind in the right way, mind is very important, because that's the programming part, right? And then consumerism also, because that's an action. What you wear as an history, where you live as an history. So if you go back, there is a karmic effect in how your house was built, or your food is some rice is coming from, say, so many rice. There are 1200 varieties of traditional rices in India. There are 6,000 genetically engineered rice in India, and those genetically engineered rice comes to you. They are the genetically engineered rice. They will put chemicals to grow that. They'll put pesticides, herbicides, and then they on top of it they will polish and they'll put it in a plastic bag, and that will come to you. The karmic effect of all what they did, you will also be a partner. And also when you're consuming the rice, that will have the effect on you. So you will have two things: your karmic effect that will come, continue, and immediately this will affect the organ. So if you're doing this every day and you don't want to change this, right, and still you want to be happy, how can this is possible without disease? So you have to look into every actions. So that's the golden rule. In order to have the golden rule is, I will not harm the self or others in the present or in the future, physically, mentally. Whether it is a business, doesn't matter. See, I have many friends who were like long time back. We live in a community, in Nilgiris. There are a lot of Islamic, Jain, all kind of people, Christians, all live. Jains are very good because Jain Mahavir principle is like you have to be very ahimsic, non-violence. But if you look at the Jain people, they even have mask and everything, and even they don't do agriculture. And one of the statistics shows that why they were successful in business, because they don't do practice agriculture, because that is also a non-ahimsic thing, right? Because you are killing some living organism, etc., etc. So but if they look at all the bata shops, the leather shops, all these are run by Jain, belts, all the couches. So that's why the whole process, your ahimsic life is not a religious thing. It's a processing that you need to do now, rethink now, right? So ahimsic life is not a religion. It is an ethics of life. So if you take, like, I'm not going to harm yourself and others, what is the wrong here? Does it belong to any religion? Right? To the self or others. Others include the other human beings, right? See, if you look at in the West, we have you don't affect other human being. To that they have limited. So that's the limitation of a Bible, right? But I don't think so Jesus thought that way. Jesus even went deeper to animals, right? Except there may be in a fisherman, he brings more fish. It's a different story, because that's a different kind of culture altogether here. But if you go deeper, the all the agnostic principles, they have been very clearly given, right? In all cultures, you can see that. Okay, so I'm taking a lot of time here. So if you want to have any questions, we can do in another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so the whole idea of being a non-violent person in terms of business, in terms of religion, doesn't matter religion. You just because you belong to any religion doesn't matter. The cause and effect system is bigger. Just because I belong to religion, you're safe. No, nothing. That means you should not have been suffering any disease. Any religion you practice, you'll have suffering. So there are a lot of things. It's not just because you're becoming a non-violent person, like a not non-violent means just you're a vegetarian. You're healthy. That's not true. You may be a vegetarian. Look at what you're using, how much you're using your car, or how much you're still destroying the planet. The more the carbon footprint you're creating, right, the more destruction happens to yourself. First thing that will happen to yourself, and then it will also happen to the environment, right? So this is the thing. So if you really go deep into this system, we all need to not go by the corporate greed. Even if you have a corporate structure, you want to make it a conscious corporate structure. Only then you can have the right product greed, coming out of greed, and all those things, that we have done so far. So, yeah, I have some friend. Good evening, doctor. Did you study in Mountain School? Yes, of course, I did. Okay, so it's one of my old friends, I guess. Hemalata. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. So a disease-free life is to live in a life with principles. The principles will be basically simple. I will not harm the self or others. Others include the environment, the living organism that is gifted by nature, as far as possible, not affecting even the plants or trees, or a minimum kind of, if you eat fruits, it's a non-karmic food. Non-karmic, there's no karma in fruits. It will fall by itself, right? So like that, it's a relative. Like you may ask, oh, I'm a person who asks this question. Oh, plant is also a living being. What are you talking about? Okay, human beings also. What is the difference between human being and animal? Why can't you kill? What will limit you to not kill human beings? It's all same like animal only. Then there is a difference. There is a difference in how the process. The plants are the minimum karmic. They have only one sense. So the karmic imprint is only less in that. Whereas when you go to two sense, the sense of touch and taste, the karmic imprint increases. Touch, taste, smell, right? Worms and all, they have two senses. Then you have insects, three senses. Reptiles, birds and all, the four senses. Then other animals have five senses. The more they go up in the evolution peak, the more karmic imprint they have acquired, and those karmic imprints will come inside you and they will trigger those, the cells, the DNA, and the disease start to the more chances. Today, that is why many in the Western countries, veganism is growing in big way, because they found, the scientists found that the non-vegetarian food, whatever they eating, has created a lot of disease. And they put, red meat, this fish, if you eat, what are the disease listed. If you look at, they eliminated all the things that people lived back in India. They have, 50-60% lived like that for a number of years. Thousands of years they have lived that way. But now they are recreating the same thing. It's called veganism. But veganism makes us think. There are other concepts in veganism that makes you think, because you're coming out of religion. People in India have lived religiously, and then we did all our mistakes, or leather shoes or other things, not integrating the whole thing. Now we have to rethink. There is a need for different cultural perspectives go across to lead a very complete, non-violent life, because non-violent life is very important to build this universe. Otherwise you will have disaster in this universe. We are going to create a planet that is full of hell, disease, wars, all these things. A non-violent mind is responsible for no war also. Remember, if you do not fight, if your mind is non-violent, you will not fight at home. When you don't fight at home, will you ever go for a war? Think about it. When you don't even kill a plant, will you take a AK-47 or a bomb or something to kill somebody? Think about it, right? You will never, you cannot. So that is what is important. So you're going to the very basic fundamentals, right? So the disease is, we are not talking about a vegetarianism or anything here. Think broadly. It's not a promote of vegetarianism, veganism, but you yourself think, I will not harm myself. It could be a medicine that you're taking in. Today it is good. Tomorrow it is going to damage your liver. So that means present or in the future it affected me. So that is against the principles of this, the conscious golden rule. So if you take our ancient medicines, if it is a process in the right way, or you are taking the food in the right way, these things will not happen, right? So your mind, once you think, they bring this process, okay, I'm not going to harm myself, all the other technologies will come to you, all the products will come to you automatically. You will be because you are the consciousness, you will get a product that nobody can look at, and that product will be suitable for you. It could be a shirt that you've identified. Because you are now conscious, everything becomes clear. Everything is there already in the universe. You just have to reprogram yourself. When you reprogram, you will get the right thing. If you don't reprogram, you will suffer. You will have the disease, no matter what. So with this, I'm opening for question answers. Please feel free. Yes. Please open up for questions, comments. No questions, surprised. You can argue also. Well, it's let's say dialogue. It could be a dialogue, conscious dialogue. I don't call it arguing. Yes. Yeah, trying to be a vegan in India for past 18 years. Well, because it's very important right now. It's high time. We think very differently. So see, that's why I'm telling. There are people who converted themselves into vegan, still they have a disease. Because now vegans, you go to industrial processing food now. Oh, vegan means you have to eat soybeans. All this modern nonsense, right? Tofu, soybeans, all kind of the things that are processed. Process is an industrial process, and industrial process is karmic effect footprint. So you need to understand that if you are programming yourself, eating simply, consciously, no disease will come. Even if you don't even worry about what you are eating in terms of, that is higher consciousness. Even Vada Pitta Kapha doesn't matter to you. Even bigger than that is conscious food. Right? If you eat conscious food, big disease will not come. That is for sure. Right? Non-karmic food will definitely, you don't have to worry about all the proteins. This is all nonsense. What you're talking about, protein, calcium deficiency, all these are nonsense built thing. They are not real. They are human made thing for business purpose. They want to sell the protein powder, or they want to kill an animal, both sides. So you will have either choice, or a calcium tablet or a milk. So this is an industrial business thing, right? So think about an elephant which does not eat any meat, does not consume any giraffe's milk or some other animal's milk for itself, just consuming grass, which is mostly in magnesium content and other traces. Calcium traces are nothing there, no proteins, but it can build, the system itself inside can build a strong muscle, which is the protein and the bone. So if you ask an elephant, how did you do this? You have an answer. Is all your nonsense what we are talking about today is not just logic that we have built. Yes, Yamrata, you saying, yeah. Can cold sores be cured with mind? Well, it doesn't matter. The fundamental of disease, so you're looking at temporary solutions. Right now, you may want to do whatever you want to in terms of, but in a longer run, you have to program, because your previous program will start to work now. You're not reprogramming it strongly right now. If you ask me, I have this problem, can I solve this in so many days by thinking? Well, maybe, but how strong you think, whether your subconsciousness has taken that to internalize what I told you, it may take time, this program. Now it is running inside you. This thought will run stronger and stronger and stronger. At certain point, you will not have a question. Then you cure. You will not have a question to me, pointed to me, but a question pointed to yourself. And then you have an answer there. The answer comes from inside because you are the greater consciousness. Think about it. It's not about depending on somebody like a person like me or any other guru for your answers, right? So you have to process and you go in that line. I told you that line, that will, the golden rule will guide you. The golden rule is inside you, that will guide you. So here we say, Tamare Selvan, through mind I record from my nerve pain and back pain, spine. Can this through mind will through mind will come well as we want as consciously. Yeah. Well, yes, definitely it is possible. That's why I tell you the programming is very important. How strong you programming. So for those, the techniques will help, like meditation techniques and all will help. So tomorrow and next week, if you come to the same time, don't miss. It's a very big thing that we are doing right now. We are creating a campus, but that campus is a global campus where we are able to bring all these things in one place where people can think and process, in communities, not just for, you, anybody in the globe, you can come inside. It is a campus for everybody. So we are not only creating that university, but also around, people, a community around that. You can come, stay, live there for 1 week, 1 month, and then you can explore what are the possibilities. If you lived a life like this, will we get disease? So all the products that we have today are disease causing. If you use your oil, your one oil is enough to kill you. Many things you're taking, if you go to an Indian store and take like all the murkus, all, the saves, all these things, you look at everything. First of all, it's a processed food. That's not a, good food because it's deep fry. But even with the deep fry, there are carcinogenic versus like less, problem. Only Vada Pitta problem will come. Even if the oil is bad, you'll have other problem, tamasic gunas or things. But if you have the wrong oil, like palm oil, like for example, you'll have a problem. You use petroleum products, you'll have a lot of problems, right? So like this, there are many things across the world, and especially in developing countries. Now the conscious, like Europe has gone very conscious. Many in the West also, many things people have come to, some conscious living, like they are asking questions. There's less resources in terms of, there are other resources are available in terms of purchasing other things, but knowledge resources is less here about consciousness. But still, this culture is evolving, but many rapidly growing Chinese or, India, they all developed, like modernization. So they forgot the whole conscious aspect. So they're using all kind of, even the Ayurveda, Siddha products and all. They start to use chemicals and other things that will destroy us. So we need a different kind of reformation happening in the business industry. The greed and the way even the government thinks should change. It's not just doing, GDP development and other things. We need to go much conscious thing, bringing our old traditional ancient way, the way how, organically we can develop a culture that other cultures can follow instead of competing with other cultures. That is what we need to, do. Yeah. So we are doing in the south part in Madurai. Okay. Yeah. So this is because why we are doing in India, basic, because I thought about this process, because India is a hub for many sage scientists. Okay. There are thousands and thousands, millions of sage scientists who live Like for example, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is a great sage scientist who lived in the West. But if you look at 70% of the world follows Christianity, right? Right. Now, Jesus Christ is only one realized soul, right? But Western thing, anything we market, like English is marketed, 70% people speak English. So English, when you market English as a language, it's easy to market, think there are good principles. I am not denying that Jesus didn't have good principles. But what is not there in India? That is outside. Did you ever went and looked at your grandparents? Like how they thought, what is our sage scientist? We did not develop that. And it is highly statistics. If millions of sage scientists lived there, think about a culture, how underlying that culture, like unlike sage, unlike the scientists, they were stressed out. Scientists have a deadline. They are greedy because their money involved in that. Okay, so they have to run the show. There's deadline. They have to submit something, and they have to lie. Because I know I'm a hardcore scientist. I know how things work, right? If you have a deadline, you do a lot of assumptions, and then you come to conclusion. This is the thing. That's not truth. So truth doesn't come from haste. So if you're in a hurry and you're going to your office, you kept your pen somewhere near, you're searching for a pen, you couldn't find that in your home, and then you go to your office and then you realize when you're quiet, oh, I found the pen, the pen is here, I kept it in the almirah on top of it, Then you come, because why you're not able to think? Because now your mental frequency is low. Then you think clearly. Like how you have a coin under a pond and you think that's a fish when the water was wavering. And the waves all stopped. The truth came. When waves stop inside us, truth comes. The sage scientists have stopped their waves, they see truth. So truth doesn't change. Whereas the scientists, they are in the wavering mind. So that's why one medicine work today, tomorrow they will ban. One chemical work today, another 5-10 years, they ban that chemical. And all genetically engineered, they banned now. After doing so many things, they said all the people in the world followed genetical engineering. Now they are banning this genetically engineered. So that is why these all are assumption based. Same thing will happen to your today. They will remove your this tomorrow. See, to organ replacement, everything we are talking about technology. Tomorrow they can replace an organ in you, but that organ, or you make an artificial or anything like that, they will all have a karmic. There is no shortcut for success. The only thing that you can make this successful is evolve from inside. That's the only success. If you want to be a complete human being, it's not from external technologies that we are creating. These all are unsustainable technologies. Only we should evolve from inside. Right? So, problems or opportunity. Looking for a PhD. Any suggestion? Yes, you can do PhDs. Definitely. Right now also you can do PhD. You can connect with me. I can help you with that. But in the conscious subject that you want to do, and we are developing that in the campus, and it will be pretty soon. These things will be available for you. So next week you can come, and we can also, if you have little kids, 13 years to 21 years, if you want to train them on our ancient science knowledge, you want to publish papers, there's a link here. You can register them. If they're 13 to 15 years, they can go and present in a conference. We'll put the ancient knowledge into them, and then they will go and present in a mainstream conference. And then if they want to go on advanced level, they can even publish a paper. We'll help them with that. Co-authoring with world-class scientists, they can publish their papers. And it'll all be in the mainstream business, so it'll help them go to higher education, but with a different mindset now. So this is all possible with the modern things that we have. We used to use the modern things in the right way. All technology should be used for the right thing, not for creating nonsense things, nonsense products that cause karmic things. So this is like making fast money. You just want to make money. Just it's a money is a karma. You just want to make money. You see the effect of what it will. The ultimate effect of that money. Where that money came from. What is the source? How many people it affected? That's your karma. So we are also creating what is called the karma currency. The karma currency will, like, you can wait that karma currency, where the karma currency will give you very clear information of how much karmic thing that you have collected. The more the karma currency, the increase, the more disease, the lesser the disease, the higher the disease, the karma currency goes, high. So that is the thing. The karma currency, like, you make more karmic imprints. So here we need to go down, karmic. So that is what we want to create here. So we are not talking. How do you say, like, balance money with karma? So you have to have a scale for it. So if you're thinking that your money can buy everything, money can do solve all the problem, definitely not. That's where the money coming, how it is coming. That will create a karmic thing, and that we will have a scale for that. If you did this, what is the scale? How much karma you will get? So we will calculate, measure, and show you online, so you will know which one to invest, where to invest, instead of simply going to shareholders. I'm investing here. Why do you want to create karma? So we are going to create that business where you can measure that, right? And you're investing for a completely karma free, a business. Okay, so next week we will discuss deep into this. Any questions? And also, you come to our retreat. Our retreat is available. If you're in person here, you can attend our retreat in June 12 to 14 at Mason, Ohio. So there are a lot of doctors and other conscious people. Dr. Aruna is arranging this. Aruna, you have a few minutes to talk about who all are attending. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Doctor. Um, yeah, I really appreciate Dr. Shan for giving me this opportunity to invite him to Mason, Ohio, so he can share his knowledge. And I have been spreading the message to the best of my ability to share with even Americans, Westerners, because when I shared what I have experienced at the retreat that I attended in Atlanta, there was a huge shift I experienced mentally, emotionally, physically. And the I felt lighter, like weight has been lifted off my shoulder. That's what I felt. So then I was sharing that with my friends, whoever I came across, and I shared with them how I felt. They were like, "Yes, I would like to experience the same." Right? So we surround ours. I mean, that's what I felt. Surrounding ourselves with people, like-minded people who are choosing to improve their mindset, their health, physical, mental, emotional health. Um, I notice the difference, and I'm really, really grateful that Dr. Shan um, is doing that in such an authentic manner. So when I shared that with my friends and colleagues and whoever I came across, parents, um, even kids, and they were like, "Yes, I wanted, because Dr. Shan is providing this opportunity for the kids to write a research paper and then publish it in Q and journals. And the kids are certainly interested. And the adults are interested because Dr. Shan is teaching Marma rewiring, reprogramming, and then techniques to use the Varma points to improve the eyesight. So even massage therapists. And actually, yesterday I was at an event where I was sharing it with the allopathic physician. He's a cardiologist, and I was talking to his wife, and she said she's going to ask her husband, who's a allopathic physician, to come and attend um, at least on a Friday. So if so, yes, so the doctors are coming, and please attend and enjoy the knowledge that Dr. Shan is providing and his authentic self. And being attending the meditation, what I noticed is, this is my own personal experience, attending the meditation and implementing it every day. I see the shift. So if we want to change ourselves, because the change happens with us, I believe. So when I chose to change, make the change within me, I see the ripple effect as soon as, as soon as I know it sounds very unbelievable, but I believe it because I am experiencing it. As soon as 2 weeks, I see the shift happening and the ripple effect, how the changes are happening. So I'm very grateful. Whoever is interested in changing, looking at their mindset and changing the perspective, and then changing the way they take care of their body, mind, spirit, soul, I would greatly recommend. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Wonderful. So, thank you so much for that, the nice, inspiring talk, which is helpful for others, which can be potentially, generate some ripple effect, as you said, with others also. So that's what we are expecting. So people's experience. So we want to go organically also. We don't want to push this, and things happen in a very random way, because organic is slow, but at certain point it will also grow fast. I'm talking about even marketing or any other aspect. So if you do Sats weekly, slowly inspiring people who can transform, that transformation vibration, that is very different. You can have big crowds, and those crowds may not have even realized, they all are more, we call it valamatai. They will not catch fire, or from the valamatai is like the banana stems. So we want to have coal to cotton, to camphor. Camphor will light up. So the transformation that we're creating is, Valamate is impossible to do that, which may take time. I don't think so. There, a certain aspect of people can never come in. We're not going to transform the entire world, but we can transform 80% of the world, and the cycle will be there. But that's also part of the karmic things, cycles. Because if everything is clean, then there's no, the karma is there, life will go very easy. So nature even doesn't allow that. So even that, the inorganic aspect of it will still be there in nature. So we don't have to, where you want to be is what is important. You want to be in that 80%, or you want to be the 20% who will never change, right? So that is where things matter. So right now we have a short life. There's only one life. Think about it, whatever you're doing. So the mind is the only thing you're carrying. Nothing else is coming with you. So if you know how to clean mind, you know what is right. I don't have to tell you. You know this is wrong. And you just have to, increase your willpower. All these techniques will help to increase the willpower. But then you have to be continuously focusing on that one aspect of what you want to do in life. I'm not talking about the materialist life, but attaching to that consciousness, while you're living, and that goes inside, the light will come within, and that light will guide you. You don't have to depend on anybody. You are the light. You don't need any guru or anybody for that. The light inside will take you to the right path. Everybody's path is different, right? Every path is different, but ultimate goal is the same. But that path is inside you, right? So you can say, okay, I do this. That's where it's guiding me. So catch hold of that, and that'll guide you. So next week we'll meet next week again. This will be interesting. We'll go deep into what we are going to develop and how you can also be part of this. Okay, development. So thank you all. Any other queries or anything? I haven't seen. Okay, need to extend to all experience and enjoy life naturally. Yes. Okay, wonderful. All right. So thank you all so much for your precious time. I'll see you all next week. Okay, with a very important topic. Okay, thank you.